Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because you're curious, you want to get a solid understanding of interesting topics, and you want it fast.
That's the goal.
Today, we're plunging into Scott Odell's Island of the Blue Dolphins. We're working for the book you shared with us. It's this really powerful story of Karana.
Right, a young member of this island tribe who gets, well, unexpectedly left behind when everyone else evacuates. It's quite the setup.
It really is. So let's dive in.
What immediately grabs you is just how suddenly their world is disrupted.
Hmm.
The arrival of that Aleut ship at Galisat, that's the island where Karana's people live. It's not just some ship passing by.
No, it's an intrusion, definitely. It kicks off this whole chain of events.
And the description Odell gives, how Karana sees it first as a shell, then maybe a gull with folded wings before, seeing the red sails. It hints at the mystery, but also the danger coming.
Absolutely. And you see these different reactions right away between Karana and her brother, Ramo.
Yeah, Remo's all impulsive excitement, right? He just runs off to see it.
While Karana, she's curious too, obviously. But she's still focused on gathering roots, her responsibilities.
It's a nice bit of foreshadowing, really. Shows their different personalities. Karana has this deep sense of duty, even young.
But this visit, it's not friendly. The core tension surfaces almost immediately.
The Aleuts are there to hunt sea otter, valuable stuff.
And the dynamic between Chief Chowig Karana's father and Captain Orlov, the Aleut leader, it's instantly tense. All about how they'll split the catch.
Right. Orlov wants this uneven split. 2 shares for them, 1 for the tribe.
And Chief Chowig, he pushes back, wants it equal. But you feel the power imbalance straight away. Orlov's got the ship, the weapons.
He does. And then there's that really significant moment. Chief Chowig tells Orlov his secret name.
Which, as the book explains, is a huge deal in their culture. Not something you just do.
No way. It's like revealing your essence, your power. Doing it to a stranger, a potentially hostile one.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a desperate attempt to connect. Or maybe.
Or maybe a fatal miscalculation of who he was dealing with. It shows this cultural vulnerability, maybe.
Could be. It makes you really wonder what was going through his mind.
And we get these little glimpses of cultural differences, too. The Aleuts have skin tents, not like the tribe's homes.
And Karana's father notes that the Aleuts, or people like them they'd met before, do not understand friendship. It hints at past bad experiences.
Explains their caution, doesn't it? Their strategy is basically just to watch the Aleuts, keep their distance, gather intel.
Exactly. Standard procedure for indigenous groups facing unknown, potentially dangerous outsiders. Assess the risk. It sets the stage for what happens next.
Okay, so let's get into that friction. The White Base incident seems like a key moment where things really start to sour.
Oh, yeah. The tribe has this surprisingly good fishing day, tons of white bass, and the Aleuts just show up and basically demand some.
It's the entitlement, isn't it? They have their own dried fish, but they want the fresh stuff.
And Chief Chowig resists, points out they have their own food, his people need this, totally reasonable.
But the Aleuts immediately threaten to get Captain Orlov involved. It goes from a request to like a power play.
A clear sign they don't respect the agreement or the tribe. It just erodes any trust that might have been there.
Yeah, destroys it pretty quick. And then we see the Aleuts hunting. They're ruthlessly efficient in those skin canoes.
And the sheer number of otters they kill, it really affects Karana.
She watches them, sees them playing in the kelp. They're not just pelts to her.
Right. But her father initially kind of brushes off her worries, doesn't he? Like, don't worry, they'll come back after the Aleuts leave.
Maybe he didn't grasp the scale of it, or just wanted to avoid more conflict. Either way, Karana feels kind of alone with her concerns.
That disconnect is really there. Then they find that log washed ashore.
And it becomes more than just wood for a canoe, right?
Yeah.
It's symbolic of their growing distrust of Orlov.
Totally. They start hollowing it out in Coral Cove, but they post guards at night. It's not just boat building, it's vigilance.
Making sure Orlov doesn't just sneak off without paying up. The whole atmosphere is just thick with suspicion. You know something's going to break.
It does. We move from this tense truce to outright betrayal. The weather even plays a part, doesn't it? Ominous signs on the day they're packing up.
Yeah, deep waves, a storm brewing. Feels like nature itself is warning them.
And then the confrontation, the moment of truth over the payment. Orlov's offer, a few chests, one with beads, one with iron spearheads.
It's pathetic. Compared to the huge number of pelts they took, it's a calculated insult.
Absolutely, just showing his contempt. Chief Chowig stands firm, demands the fair share they agreed on. You can just picture the tension.
And then, bam, it just explodes. Orlov strikes Chowig.
The agreement's broken, someone throws a spearhead back maybe, then gunfire from the ship. It's chaos.
A brutal one-sided battle on the beach. The Aleuts have the guns.
And the losses for the tribe are devastating. So many men killed, including Chief Chadwick himself.
It's catastrophic. Leaderless, vulnerable. Odell really shows the harsh reality of that clash. That one act just shatters their world.
The aftermath. It's bleak. The tribe's numbers are way down. Less than half the men survived, I think.
Which forces this huge shift. The women have to take on men's roles, hunting, fishing, facing dangers they didn't before.
And Kimki, the new chief, he decrees this new division of labor, trying to adapt. But the grief, the memory of the battle, it just hangs over the village.
They're mourning, trying to rebuild, but living under this constant fear, too. What if the Aleuts come back?
That fear is everything. It drives them to prepare to flee. They start hiding canoes, making that rope ladder down the cliffs to get to Santa Catalina if needed. It's constant anxiety.
Their whole focus is survival, escape, then another ship appears. Not the Aleuts this time.
Right. It brings news from Kilkee, who had apparently gone ahead earlier to find a new place. This ship is supposed to take them all away from Galasat. A lifeline, maybe.
A fragile hope.
Yeah.
But even leaving is bittersweet, right? Leaving their home. And then, Ramo.
Ah, Ramo. He forgets his fishing spear in the rush.
And Karana, being the protected older sister, tells him there's no time, he can't go back for it. A seemingly small thing.
But with huge consequences. The evacuation at Coral Cove is pure chaos. Everyone's scrambling onto the white men's ship.
And in the confusion, Karana loses track of Ramo. She gets on board, looks back, and
Sees him, standing on the cliff, left behind.
it's horrifying.
Uh-huh.
Matasype, who's in charge now, won't turn the ship back. Maybe fears wrecking it on the rocks. But for Karana, it's just abandonment.
The ultimate betrayal, yeah. And her reaction is just, wow, so brave. She jumps.
Jumps off the ship into the ocean to swim back to her brother.
Yeah.
Incredible courage, driven purely by love for him.
That act defines her, really, her resilience. It sets her entire journey of survival in motion. But their reunion,
Yeah.
it's tragically brief.
Because there's a new threat. The wild dogs.
Exactly. With the village empty, the dogs that were always around have become feral, dangerous. A pack has formed.
And then, that terrible night, Ramo goes out and the dogs attack him.
He doesn't survive. It's just brutal. Karana finds him.
And that's it. Her last family member. She's utterly alone now. It's a turning point.
Her childhood is just gone. And this immense grief fuels a new purpose. Revenge against the dogs.
It shifts her focus, doesn't it? From just surviving day to day to actively confronting the island's dangers.
And she acts decisively. First, she burns the village, wipes the slate clean, maybe, cuts ties with the painful past.
Symbolic, yeah. But moving her camp to that headland, that's practical. Good water source nearby, great view for spotting ships or danger, defensible.
She's thinking strategically now, learning her environment. And she starts making proper weapons. That sea elephant tusk spear point, pretty ingenious.
Shows her resourcefulness. And she watches the lead dog of the pack, the big one with the yellow eyes. She's planning, preparing for a showdown.
It's calculated, and amidst all this, Odell notes the sea otters have come back to the kelp beds now that the Aleuts are gone. A little touch of nature healing itself.
It's a nice contrast.
Yeah.
But Karana's focus is survival and watching. Always watching for that ship.
But the seasons pass, years start to blur, and the ship doesn't come back. Hope starts to fade.
And the loneliness grows. That becomes the real enemy, doesn't it? The isolation.
Absolutely. Physical survival is one thing, but the psychological toll of being completely alone, that's immense. And it's this deep loneliness that pushes her to do something incredibly risky.
Build her own canoe and try to sail to the mainland.
An unbelievable undertaking for one person. Felling a tree, hollowing it out, somehow dragging that heavy thing to the water. Just sheer willpower.
And the journey itself. She makes progress at first. And those dolphins swimming alongside her.
A moment of connection, maybe, solace from the natural world. They seem almost like guides.
But the ocean is tough. The canoe starts leaking. The currents are tricky. Night falls. It's terrifying.
It really highlights how desperate she must have been to even attempt it. And in the end, she has to turn back.
Guided back by the dolphins again, right?
Yeah, she makes it back to the island. Relief, maybe, at being alive, but also that crushing weight of knowing she's still stuck, still alone.
So back on the island, she seems to accept it more. Decides to build a proper, permanent home.
Right, near the sea elephant rookery on the south part of the island. Good resources. Maybe the noise offers some kind of company. It signifies a deeper commitment. This is her life now.
She builds the house, puts up a fence made of whale ribs for protection. Very resourceful.
And with this new sense of permanence, she decides it's time Time to deal with the wild dogs.
She's not just defending anymore, she's going on the offensive. Makes better weapons, bow and arrows.
And she plans her attack carefully. Goes to their cave, uses fire to smoke them out, shoots arrows. Very strategic.
She wounds the leader, the yellow-eyed one she'd been watching. He gets away, but she tracks him later, finds him injured, helpless.
And here's where the story takes that amazing turn. Instead of killing him, fulfilling her vow of revenge.
She carries him back to her house, nurses him back to health.
An incredible act of compassion. It completely changes everything. She names him Rontu.
Meaning fox eyes in her language.
Yeah.
And this fierce enemy becomes her loyal companion. It's beautiful, really.
It breaks her isolation in a profound way. Rontu fills that void, provides companionship, protection. And she doesn't stop there, does she?
No, she teams birds too. Tainer and Lurai, and a young gull. Creates this little unconventional family around her.
And she keeps adapting, making clothes from seal skin, tools from shells and bone. She even takes on a giant giant octopus, just testing her skills, proving she belongs.
And then, after all these years alone with her animals, another human, Tutak, the Aleut girl.
Another shock, another intrusion, but different this time. The Aleuts are back, yes, but this encounter is cautious. Tentative.
Understandably so, given the history. But Karana and Tutak, they slowly build this fragile connection, sharing words, gestures.
That moment they connect over the word Vincha, meaning pretty. It's lovely. They exchange names. Karani even shares her secret name with Tutak.
That's huge, showing real trust. Tutak gives her a circlet for her hair. A real friendship seems to be forming.
But it's fleeting, isn't it? Like everything in her isolated world.
Yeah. Tutak just disappears one day. Around the time the Aleuts will be leaving. No goodbye.
Leaving Karana with mixed feelings, probably. Relief the Aleuts are gone again, but sad to lose that human connection.
And after that, she finds another animal companion, a wounded baby otter.
Monane. She rescues it, cares for it. Eventually, Monane has babies of its own, and they all become part of her world. It shows how far she's come.
Definitely. She stops hunting animals altogether around this time, sees them purely as companions, fellow islanders. A profound shift.
Her relationship with the natural world is complete. She's fully integrated.
So more years pass. Many more. The seasons turn. Rontu eventually dies of old age, which is heartbreaking.
But she finds companionship with his son, Rontuaru. Life goes on. She stops keeping track of the years, the book says. Time flows differently for her.
Even major events, like a big earthquake and a tsunami that hits the island. She survives, rebuilds, endures. She is the island almost.
And then, finally, another ship. White men again.
After decades, it must have been utterly surreal. She hesitates at first, hides.
Understandable. But eventually, she interacts with them. They make her a dress. She prepares herself. It's the end of her time on the island.
Leaving behind her home, her animal friends' graves. It's incredibly poignant. And that detail about marking her face to show she was unmarried, she still held onto her culture's ways.
And we know this is based on a true story, The Lost Woman of San Nicolas. Though we know very little about what happened to the real woman after her rescue. Her language was lost.
Such an incredible story. Karana's resilience, her adaptability, it's just astounding. Finding connection and meaning in total isolation.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about loneliness, survival, and how we connect not just with people, but with the world around us.
What does it mean to be found, anyway? She was brought back to human society, sure, but she'd already built a rich life, a community of sorts on her own terms.
Exactly. And that mystery of her lost language, her tribe's lost history. It's a powerful reminder of all the stories we don't know, the experiences lost to time, something to really mull over. What parts of ourselves thrive or are even discovered only when we're truly alone?